Hello folks, good morning from Dhaka, Bangladesh. Welcome back to the channel. Times check, it's 8:15 something in the morning. Early morning, but sun is out already. Very warm day it's gonna be. I know that for sure. But I decided to stay indoors most of the time today. Also do some work. I got few work to do later today. So I'm doing few videos. This is the last one. Morning thoughts. Basically today I want to talk about fragrances itself, but not gonna be a review, okay? I want to talk about why fragrance game, what does it give me or give other people that I notice. It's sort of like a sharing experience thing. And you can tell your story in the comment section what it did for you. And fragrances already have been in my life for nearly, like I would say 20 years. I've been using fragrances. When I was young, like 20 something, I started using like proper perfumes, okay, like in the college, university time. And I'll tell you a little bit of story. I said this stories before, but I'm pretty sure not everybody watched those videos. So I will tell you from my beginning until today about 25 years of experience, or with fragrances and working in this line for 10 years now. How do I view this? Okay, where does fragrance game stay? What does it give us, and why play fragrance game in the first place? Should you be a collector? Should you be a fragrance reviewer? Should you be the person who spend a lot of time? The investment is not just time, money. It's also about time. Like you think I'm not spending that much money, so what do I lose? Some of you will say, man, I'm just watching the reviews. I don't buy anything per month, but you're actually spending a lot of time watching reviews, isn't it? So you are doing research, you are seeing other people, what they're wearing, what's being hyped. And in the end, believe it or not, if you stay in the community, eventually you're going to end up buying, if not a lot, but quite a few, right? So you get deeply invested in a way because your time is more precious than money. Let me just start with that point. Some people think, man, time is okay. Time is what is time. I'm not spending anything. I'm just going with someone, and then I'm spending a lot of time with people, community, or I'm giving so much time to someone, and you feel like, yeah, man, I didn't lose out much. But in the end, let's say you spent like a lot of years with someone, with some friends, and you see it didn't work out, and those people turn out to be sour or not really good people or not who you thought they were. You will actually think back and you see like you spent so much time talking to them, gave them your energy, gave them part of your life, and they didn't really appreciate it. They did not really care for it. They just were with you for certain thing, because maybe your time they needed for the certain amount, of time, or the time span that they needed to be okay. And when they're done with you, they moved on and stuff, right? And then they use someone else. So that is something is very important. Like people, spend your time quality, spend your time wisely, because it has to be a quality time. That's when you feel it was a good experience knowing someone, spending some time with them. It will give you, you'll take something away, like how you spend holidays. You go, you fly, go to another country, and you feel like, some people look at you like, hey man, why do you spend so much time traveling with the tickets? I myself do not travel much because I am a little bit, homebound, right? And I like to work until I get a stable income source, but I keep grinding for 8 years, so it's kind of sick. I stuck at home for a long time. But people, when they travel, some people look at it as like waste of time or money, right? It's not. It's neither waste of time or money, because those people who can actually travel, not everybody is super rich, but they actually prioritize traveling, all right? Because to them, when you go to a different country, new countries, see a lot of new thing, new culture, new food, new cities, new monuments, buildings, lake, animals, and then weather. You bring back something which is so much more precious than the time. Sorry, why I keep saying time? So much precious than the money that you spend. So you bring back memories. When you read a book, that's like a whole, like a world, and you just gain it, and it's stored in your brain somewhere. So these experiences are priceless, right? So when you talk about fragrances, coming back to fragrances, it's not just money spent. It's like the time investment, okay? You spend a lot of time, means you're interested in this game. You want to know about a perfume. You want to meet people and see what they think of your favorite fragrance. And you sit in a table on regular basis, drink a lot of coffee, smoke once in a while. And then, you keep, wanting to meet and, make more memories like that. So I think fragrances give you that. They give you the interest, they give you something to look forward to. It gives you sometimes like-minded friends, which is nice. It also gives you like a new world. Let's talk about the new world. Let's see who are new in the game. Those who are old, they already know this, okay? They are seasoned, they are veterans. But those who are new in Bangladesh, let me tell you, in 2016 I started my journey and my channel. I started my channel a long time back, but started talking about fragrances somewhere in end of 2016. It's now 9 years thinking of it. That time when I moved from Malaysia to Bangladesh, there was a little community. Like there were some groups, but not as widespread. People didn't have like large meetups, not many perfume shops, and fragrances were mostly a luxury good. But in this 9 years, I'm not going to say it's my credit because I work mostly on the international platform, reviewing in English and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say I work so much for Bangladeshi community, but I represented Bangladesh. But the transformation, like it's like the interest grew so much on perfumes that now we have so many new shops and newer shops are opening, and they're putting a lot of young individuals, models, Gen Z to promote perfumes. And you see all this, like how to say, in foreign countries, like even in India, like you already had boutiques long time back, but now what is that? I just remember, I forget, man. There's this big boutique, in India where they have makeups, perfumes, and all that. In Bangladesh, we also have now Sandara. So you'll see perfumes are being promoted like, it's like a mass, like a mainstream product, okay? And it's coming up as one of the most beautiful and interesting hobbies. People are buying fragrances now each month. It's not the same, okay? Like I was talking to, and remember Sephora, right? So Bangladesh, we don't have Sephora, but we have like Sandara. But before, people would buy a perfume and use it for 5 years, and that's it. They finish, and then they buy another one. They will have hardly 2 to 3, not more than that. That is actually, back in the days, a big collector, people would say. But nowadays, you'll see people with their background, the shelf, they have pure passion. They put lights and they put very expensive shelves. I have dreams to do that, but I'm waiting for a couple of more months. This house will be empty and they'll be moving, family's moving. So I'll have the whole house by myself. So I'll stay here and then renovate. Hopefully I can get some nice furniture. This old stuff's gonna go. But it looks really nice. It looks very beautiful. I want to make this as a studio, proper studio with a sound and camera. But now it's a totally new game. People used to vape back in the days, like, vaping, smoking, shisha, watches, cars. These are the old, how do I say, hobbies and, interests. Now people are coming up with fragrance. And I know a lot of people, they don't even know who I am. They just like are so into fragrance. They buy expensive perfumes, like per month. And these are well-off people, obviously. But the perfume game, it keeps you captivated, keeps you busy, gives you something to look forward to. You wake up first thing in the morning. I told you 2 days back, they closed my fragrance Fragcomm Bangladesh group, but it turns out it was just thankfully a glitch, and it's like a mess by Facebook, but it's like a bug. But we got our group back, thankfully, even though the new group is still there, but the old group is back. But people were so sad. They're like, first thing I want to do is put scent of the morning, say good morning to everybody, meet the people, see their comments, what are they wearing. And this is something, is like a part of life. People in the office sometimes like looking at like, hey, they get a break and like, hey, what's new? Is there anything new in the shops? See, this is, very interesting hobby picks. And this is what fragrance game gives us, right? We don't realize that. We are thinking like, hey man, there's a sale going, running. How many days you spend looking at fragrances? How many days you went to shops just sniffing, just by yourself, not to show anybody. So this thing gives you a whole other world, and it's, if you cut off the game, then you realize it's like a drug, in a way that you were so invested in, and it's like so addictive, right? So in a way, yeah, it can be bad sometimes when you become addicted and keep purchasing that you never use bottles, and you just spend so much money, but it's just to show people that you got. That's not right. For me, that's just like a waste, pointless thing to do. But if you're actually doing fragrances regular basis, you are putting passionately, scent of the day, scent of the morning, scent of the night, scent of the date, scent of wedding, that's a different level, okay? So I'm very happy to see, just like India, Pakistan, we also have a great community in Bangladesh, in Asian countries, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, all these countries, they have great fragrance. But in Bangladesh, my group, so far by grace of God, is like 30K members, 30,000 members. And obviously not everybody is active there, but when I see these people, like from different, even students who don't have so much pocket money, they spend a lot of money, they save money from their tiffin or something, and they buy a fragrance, even though it can be just a simple dupe or Middle Eastern perfume, $25. That $25 the students spend, this is so much more expensive than some people spending on Louis Vuittons. It's the same, I would say, because who can buy Louis Vuittons, they are millionaires. They are like literally very rich, wealthy people. They can buy it, it wouldn't hurt their bank balance. But a student, imagine they have, all they have is $50 and they spend 25 out of that 50. It takes a big heart, to put an effort to smell great and be a part of this journey. Okay. So another thing I'll tell you, this aspect, you cannot ignore it, the business aspect. Okay. I am invested in such a way, I am not a perfume seller. I don't sell full bottles or anything, but I wanted to come up with my own brand. I want to have my own shop, but it's a very expensive investment. I don't have that kind of money. I ever saved, that kind of money. You need to spend a lot to come to a business, and you cannot simply start. Many people say start small, start with 100 bottles. That will not really shine. It will take 10 years more to establish, right? But if you have a good setup and you know the right fragrances to get in your shop and people keep coming back, testers, new releases, hard to find flankers, hard to find rare gems, you have to mix it up. Some for ladies, some for men, some niche, some indie. If you have a right amount of mix, then people have interest to come to your shop. If you keep the generic, the same old fragrance everybody has, then people will not come to your shop, and eventually if you don't have sale, the shop will run out of business and they will run losses. Also, they will reduce the number of bottles and at one point they will close. So every business is risky. Okay. And you really need to know, like, are you ready for 2-3 years survival mode at first? Okay. I'm not quite sure that's possible in Bangladesh because the economy is very down and perfumes are not being sold so much until the next election comes. But I do have a Decant page for about 8 years now, and that Decant page was the very first Decant page of Bangladesh. I introduced that idea. There were a few people decanting, but not on mass scale. I started with 100 something perfumes. So now what is happening is people, when they want to buy a full bottle, they will buy a Decant from me or anyone else, and they'll test it. If you like it, they'll buy full bottle from other sellers. Okay, this is a good support system on my channel. This is to support my YouTube channel because I didn't have monetization from the beginning. I had only worked for 2 something years now. So the business aspect, if you think about, if you really want to get into reviewing, monetize your channel, earn, and then get, let's say, sponsors. Okay, if you are open-minded and if you are a go-getter, companies will approach you. They'll give you free bottles, perhaps if you're already doing good numbers, on your channel, subscribers, and you're happening and you're really creative content creator. Like, you can capture people. Okay, you can go out and do interviews and stuff, which I don't do much, but I'm thinking to do. If you bring out the ladies, beautiful ladies, opinions and stuff, if you can really put the energy out there, people feel that energy. And yeah, I'm not saying you're gonna get viral in 2 days, like let's say Old Erica or let's say some of the other ladies who review, who are Michelle. Okay, there's a difference between guys and girls. Girls can put glamour, they can put their beauty out there, they can bring out naughtiness, and guys will like, I want some. But the same thing, you can imagine a guy is like, trying to put on like a little, bikini body and stuff, and it's not gonna work, putting mini briefs. Guys are not attractive. Okay, guys are good looking, they have charisma, but guys can do actually real fragrance work. They really can know about perfumes and their strength and weakness in every gender. Okay, for me. So for guys, the sex appeal wouldn't work. If you're a good looking guy, okay, if you're like Tom Cruise, okay, people will subscribe, but not everybody is Tom Cruise, right? But if you are passionate, if you keep doing your fragrance work day in, day out, and TikTok, and you do Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, you put a significant time of the day, per day, you will slowly grow. And once you build that empire, based on that, you can start your business. Because fragrances are available everywhere. You can import from Dubai, some other countries. And if you already have fan following, within few years, 5 years or so, you can have established market. So you can keep that in mind, but do not do it like half-heartedly. A lot of people I know, they are passionate about perfumes. They like buying perfume. They like to sell, but they don't want to put so much effort on the net or that time. And I would say, if you don't want to put effort, God himself will not give you. Like he will say, this guy is just not putting enough effort, right? So in the end, eventually, after spending so much time, you'll end up nowhere. It will be a waste of time. So fragrances give us a lot, takes a lot of our money. Keep it in mind. If you can get carried away, if you do get carried away, you will end up with huge losses sometimes. Maybe you didn't buy stuff that you wanted in your life. Like, let's say you wanted to get that nice Rolex, for example, or this pair of Essex shoes, runners, trainers. but you didn't buy, you sacrificed it for the perfume, but you didn't either have a Decant page or used it or whatever, you couldn't sell it. It's just there, you know, a Louis Vuitton, $350, $400. If you didn't buy few Louis Vuittons, you could have ended up buying a nice little, you know, affordable Rolex, like the very basic ones, or some of the other brands. Or even, you know, I would say crazy it may sound, if you didn't buy so many perfumes of worth of thousands of dollars, you could have ended up buying a nice car. Yeah, if some of our people, you know, some of us, we sell our whole collection, we can buy a very nice car. I just realized it, you know, when I thought back, I'm like, how many perfumes did I buy? I lost track. Some of you asked me, like, how many perfumes do you own? I did not count. Okay, at one point I had about 3,500 to 4,000 fragrances at one point. Yeah, and I ended up selling them a lot because I went broke one point, and I realized that you cannot keep, and this literally like shortage of space, right? So make it like healthy balance, even though there is no such thing. Eventually it's going to be a damage in your pocket. So yeah, some of the downsides are that money, you know, you have to let go of money, and also the time you could have spent maybe with your family. Some of people, like, they spend so much time behind fragrances, they don't give time to their significant other. I did that, you know. I told you this story once. I was so invested in this fragrance game. I was running from shop to shop, people to people, or if there's something new, I do this hunting thing. I'm a kind of like Indiana Jones, okay? Like, I hunt for treasures. Sometimes I'm so, you know, like, I'm like, what am I gonna do? And I just go to random shops all over my city trying to find a vintage fragrance or limited edition. I bought many fragrances like that. I didn't have any clue what I was gonna buy, but I had a feeling. I could sniff like a, you know, what you call those hounds, you know, bloodhounds and stuff. I can sniff, perhaps this area, this shop will have a perfume which no one has, you know, and it could be like a limited time, all vintage. Out of 10, believe it or not, 8.5 times I ended up getting fragrances like that, right? So that is also investment, because I spend a lot of money on Uber, you know, transportation. These are all part of the journey. So yeah, it gives and takes a lot, but the most beautiful aspect of fragrances, I feel, are the memories that you created over the years. I have literal, like, 2016 until now, 2025 folders of each year, what I bought, the meetups, fragrances that were gifted to me when I was dating. I was wearing this, and I got compliments, or something I wore on a trip. These are the things that you cherish the most. Let's say you one day you decide, man, enough of fragrances, I'm going to retire, I'm just going to enjoy whatever I have, not going to look into groups or reviews no more, just going to enjoy my retirement, you know, happy retirement. And then you just ponder upon, and you just look back, and you're like, this one was gifted by this special friend of mine, this was gifted by my wife or ex-girlfriend. And all these memories will come up and just, you know, tell you stories. Each bottle that you look at, like, oh man, I wore this perfume during this time, okay? Or some of you will think, like, when I got married, Aventus was my scent of the day. This is how they become part of your life, and that's how they become special, like a family member. And the bitter truth is, people leave us in life, you know, we lose people from time to time to death, sometimes to breakups, sometimes due to quarrel, misunderstanding, a lot of stuff, right? But the fragrances never leave us, you know. These are lifeless bottles which contain scented waters, but they remain with us, you know. For me, I feel they are my loyal friends. Sometimes when I wake up, they give me strength. It sounds like a BS, I understand, some of you will not understand, but I do this work for so much more than money, because the money that I make, I spend so much more than what I make on fragrances. Even though I don't want to buy this month, I didn't want to buy that much, but, you know, I'll just show you before finishing. I bought a couple of more Ahmed Al Maghribis, okay, which I'm going to review in upcoming days, and I bought another one. So the interest, you know, I do not see any practicality, because some of this I put in Decant page, they don't really sell that much, you know. Even I do the review, it's not even 1,000 views, but I do put the video out there because I feel, you know, some of this Ahmed Al Maghribi or Middle Eastern houses where they release, some of them, they do deserve reviews, and they don't give me free bottles, I don't get any payment, but I know where my heart belongs, right? So I found a true love in my life. I told you, I went through that hardship of breakup and stuff. It was very difficult. It's still very difficult to accept, because it was all of a sudden and everything. It's just so many unanswered questions. But anyway, I really feel, you know, the love that I seek is myself. It sounds narcissistic. We all are on a certain level, but I put priority to my own happiness now. I put priority to well-being. I don't prioritize to make other people happy or take care of them when they need. I do care for people who care for me, who are nice people, good-hearted people. I be there for them, no problem. But I prioritize now what I have to do first. What is my mission? What's my goal? And perhaps it's to become, like a, public figure and stuff, which I'm not in Bangladesh, but perhaps it's time to take it to the next level. Make fragrances so much more fun, accessible, and make people aware of it. Like what's a great game. Instead of doing a lot of addiction, bad habits. People spend a lot of money gambling, smoking. Sorry to say that I smoke nowadays as well, but once in a while, not because of stress, just, but it's such a beautiful game, such a beautiful hobby. It gives you something. You know it's like back in the days buying CDs, cassettes to listen to music, and people valued so much music, so much music was a big industry. So now the era of those are gone. Now we have Spotify and this and that, but music is not as fun as before, as far as I feel. If it's viral on YouTube or somewhere, people listen to it. But when you buy music and you buy records, labels, like whatever, and you listen to the songs, you actually value what you paid for. And this fragrance game is same. When you pay for a perfume from your own pocket, it's not free. You'll value it. You'll enjoy every single spray when it's like with your hard-earned money, and you feel this is something very close to my heart. If you don't have anything, investment somewhere, you'll not feel attachment towards there. Even if it's a relationship, you'll just like taking, and you just like having like okay days, you're just floating over the water but not really invested in. You never deep down and take a swim. You would not really feel that attachment, right? So attachment comes from sacrifice. So sacrifice is the money and the time investment. I feel I'm deeply invested in this. Not just money, is the time spent and the interest that I have. First thing in the morning, it's like a whole like a routine check. What's the messages? Okay, who are the pending posts? I have to approve those. And then if I have any orders, the whole process is about fragrances. So I am deeply invested, even though I don't do full-on business. But the YouTube monetization, these things, they make me decent living. I can afford my food, clothing, stuff like that. But I cannot afford like a luxurious lifestyle. I cannot afford savings. If I actually live a little bit more practical, a little bit difficult life, yeah, maybe it will. But all in all, fragrances in a nutshell, they give you so much, but you have to be the one with the control of the game. If the game goes behind you and controls you, and you have to bend your back, man. There's bareback, what's that movie, Bareback Mountains or something like, there was a movie where, so don't let anything control you, but you control the game. Yeah, sometimes it will be a little bit reversed, but more or less it's a great hobby, passion, and a nice little leisure or something to have in life. You don't have to play games like us. You don't have to be a reviewer, okay? But if you're part of the game and you see someone talking about your favorite fragrance one day and say, hey man, you also Aqua Dubai, you're also wearing that, that's a great fragrance, my wife likes it on me, and then I wore it and it was my wedding scent, and you feel great listening to those stories. Some people, there's this person, this girl, she told me, last story, okay? She told me, this perfume is very special to me, it's a men's perfume, and something I wear myself. I said, why? She told me, like, this was my late father's signature scent, and he bought always a new bottle when he ran out of one. And I miss my father so much. I miss him, his time. I miss like everything about, fathers and daughters, their bonding is very special. So I understand the sentiments. It's not just a perfume in a bottle. Sometimes it's about emotion. It creates memories. You miss someone and you immediately transport back those times. Maybe sometimes you feel very nostalgic or emotional or sad, but it's very precious. Let's say a teardrop comes down, if you miss someone, those are special. You are connected from here. Human beings are about emotions, so fragrance is also emotions in a bottle. So play it only when you feel it. Don't play it to show others, like I have furniture full of bottles. That's not really like happening. I mean, that's not really fun, right? So take care, guys. Have a nice day. Hopefully you enjoyed the talk, and I just want to do these videos every now and then, just want to express, right? So hopefully you enjoy, and also share your story. What are your memories? Why fragrance are special to you? And are you interested to do content? If you're ever thinking of, I want to talk about perfumes on this platform, go ahead. And I'll tell you, even if you're shy, if you're not really sure, I try to mentor people when they start and they are shy and they're not really feeling it. I tell them, man, push yourself, you know, make it like 5 videos and you keep deleting until you are satisfied with one, and slowly you'll get there and you'll see how much you enjoy being in front of the camera. Okay, so yeah, that's also a nice hobby to have. Take care guys, have a nice day, bye bye.